Crypto scalability. It really deals with a lot of things. How big is crypto, but especially how fast is crypto? Fast is a big deal in our lives. We are people who sit down to have no patience for anything. We want to have it right now. I want to go and buy a new car. I'm not going to go shopping. I'm going to sit there and buy it online. Yeah. You're going to spend $80,000 and buy it online? Okay, if that's up to you, I would prefer to go smell it first and maybe even get in it and drive it a little bit before I bought it. But that's me and that's you. You do your thing, I'll do mine. Crypto scalability, though, really affects all of us because even though we may have different tastes in it, one issue that we all hold is the aspect of speed. How fast are crypto transactions, and are you willing to wait for this really cool form of purchasing things to actually work for you on a regular daily basis? A check. You go on the internet and they say, it takes a check 2 days to process. I've never seen a check take 2 days to process. Somehow they always drag their feet. And then if you have any kind of issues, then they have to go check something. It takes up to a week. Not if there's a bank holiday. A bank holiday could be maybe the founder of the bank sat there and passed away on this day or had a birthday. Who knows? They have so many holidays. It almost really, the idea of doing a human transaction with them really is very difficult. Let's use a credit card. But wait a minute. How much does a credit card cost? If you charge $100 at a retailer, okay, the retailer only gets $97 and the credit card company gets the other 3%. 3% or 3.5% is an awful lot of money. And the consumer, what do? You get the item right now, you get a bill, you got to pay in 30 days. And by God, if you don't pay it, you're going to pay 18 to 24%. Oh my gosh, or your firstborn child. Sometimes it may be a good thing. Bitcoin, that aspect of 10 minutes, I was kidding about the kid. By the way, the Bitcoin, it takes about 10 minutes. So you're going to go up there, you're going to sit down and you pull out your Bitcoin wallet, you transfer something to the coffee clerk standing behind there, and then you wait. You wait. And you wait. Are you going to wait 10 minutes? Are the people behind you in line going to wait 10 minutes for a Bitcoin transaction? No. Right now, the issue of this whole thing of scalability, it really challenges cryptocurrency as a whole to not be usable on a daily basis with retail. That's a problem. Here's an example. Visa has 24,000 transactions per second. We call it TPS, transactions per second. Now, if you look down the scale, you'll see Ripple, you'll see PayPal, you'll see Dash, you'll see Ethereum is faster. You get a whole 20 transactions per second, and there's Bitcoin down there with just 7 transactions per second. It's slow. It's so slow that it really damages the ability to transfer things. You got the brilliance of having a blockchain there. You have a brilliance of a block being formed for every transaction that happens, and then being an irrefutable part, an irreversible part of a blockchain. You can always find it. It's an open system. You have all these cool things, but it's still slow. Probably too slow for a lot of us because our patience is about this long, because we're humans in this century, and we want everything, well, now. Vidar Buterin, okay, the founder of Ethereum, I have to tell you, he proposed Ethereum at the ripe old age of 19. This guy's a genius off the chart. Anyhow, he said there's a problem. He calls it the scalability trilemma. You get to have 2 out of the 3 legs on a stool called blockchain. You have decentralization, wonderful, scalability, or security simultaneously, but it's really hard to get all 3. And it is a problem. You have the decentralization part, scalability, security. Security is huge. Okay, but let's take a look. Here you have the triangle. You'll see in the bottom left security, top the scalability, decentralization. You can even change sides. It doesn't matter. There's 3 of them, and it's a triangle. The scalability trilemma is really an observation that he made, and it's not a mathematical proof. So even though he says it, even though he's a genius, it doesn't mean it's carved in stone. It means it's a reality that we have to overcome in the process long term. There could be an algorithm that can solve the trilemma unless somebody proves it possible. So there always is the possibility to solve all 3 of them. It's just going to be hard to do. So with that being said, let's look into different issues. Decentralization, it's about ownership, influence, and value on the blockchain. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized. No single party can govern the whole network because it's all decentralized. That's a good thing. But it's not a yes or no. There's various levels of decentralization that you have, and it takes time to transact time to process because you have to have multiple people approving the transaction that makes sure it's a little bit slower. So even though it's decentralized, which is a good thing, it's also a bad thing because it slows things down. You have that issue. Security of all of them, this is pretty vital. We've already talked about one when we talked about the double spending issue with the Byzantine general in a previous lesson. So you have that issue. You also have a Sybil attack, multiple personalities attacking all at the same time. You have a node that operates many active fake identities simultaneously. You even have some governments involved with part of their army going around trying to rob people of their cryptocurrency, trying to rob banks, trying to rob you, okay, of the money. And it's a government entity that makes it okay to sit there and loot money or cryptocurrency from individuals, banks, or institutions. I got a problem with that, but it's not my morals, not my values running their government. Okay, so anyhow, so they're going to have multiple different entities from the same person, all courting them within a peer-to-peer network, and it tries to undermine the majority of the people by having that huge authority and gaining influence over the network. And sometimes it's worked a couple times. So the Sybil attack is a real one. Generally, it's been stymied over the years, especially since about 2019. We haven't seen many of them successful. Okay, but you have that issue. Then you have distributed denial of service, DDoS, where an attacker floods a service with internet traffic and they prevent access to online sites and services. It's happened, it's been used multiple times, including the year that this video was recorded. Yet a couple of them, it takes a lot of coordination, a lot of horsepower to actually make this happen, but it has happened. And then you have the 51% attack, which is especially effective with the proof of work group, which is really, okay, even though you have proof of stake now is really becoming more dominant, especially with Ethereum jumping on board with that. Still, the big monster on the block when it comes down to the controlling, the aspect is Bitcoin still controls over 40% of the entire market valuation of cryptocurrency, and that is proof of work. You have, this is still an issue and it's not going to go away. And frankly, I don't think it'll ever go away. But the goal is a group of miners, the ones that actually go out and mine Bitcoin, that with the algorithms, they have these giant computer powers. Well, if they ever get 51% of a blockchain, then they control it and they can alter that blockchain. So that means that that's an issue. The security overall, there's a lot more freedom to have free entrance, free exit of a network. You have a lot of decentralization, but lower security when you make it easy to go in and easy to go out, especially about the verification of new participants, because that's where your Sybil attack comes in, and that's where some other ones come in. So overall, the scalability, it's about the network's capacity, the number of nodes in the network, the number of transactions it can process, and then, of course, how fast it can process. A proof of work system automatically adjusts the difficulty, and the network can tolerate any number of nodes in the network. It just might slow it down a bit. So Bitcoin is not scalable. Okay, that said, it does 7 transactions per second. There have been different ways of trying to change the actual TPS for it, but it's not going to match Visa, at least not in the next few years, if ever. But people, they're still not going to wait. They have 10 to 14 minutes to confirm a purchase of coffee or pizza in the process. Really, proof of stake doesn't rely on the physical machines to generate consensus, so it's more scalable. There's no need for the big farms. There's more validators to the network that turn out cheaper, simpler, and make it more accessible. So you have that. So really, the scalability is going to probably end up going to the speed factor to Ethereum and other POS systems that'll really be the cryptocurrency maybe of the future. But for the foreseeable future, the really big one out there is still Bitcoin. And even then, some people argue that proof of stake versus proof of work, that proof of work will still dominate because they're worried about the fact there really is no true work happening with proof of stake other than validating. So you have that argument out there, but only the future will know what happens. Source of material, here it is over here, an excellent article. Feel free to go look at it. But in today's scalability, the vendors can work around the speed or lack of speed with crypto through pre-orders. There is a way of doing that. If you want to order a pizza, you call up the pizza, you charge in your appropriate cryptocurrency, and boom, you pick it up 15 minutes later, and that's long enough for the transaction to clear. So you have those type of ways of working around that issue. But really, on the instantaneous that we enjoy right now with a credit card, we're not going to have that in cryptocurrency until we get this scalability issue really resolved. And it's vital for crypto to move into mainstream on a daily basis with that, to compete with those pay options, it's got to be faster and have more scalability to be used on a regular basis. Take care.